welcome to our webinar, which is focusing on the Certificate in Circular Economy. This is an information session just to provide you with some more details around what this particular program is about, how it will be delivered, what you can expect to learn, the types of assessment that will be taken, and of course the final details around as well, making your application and your submission. So you'll have just heard there, we're recording this session and it will be placed on YouTube on the IKC3 channel for people to go back to after this particular session. So I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Helena McMahon. I am a head of department at Munster Technological University. I'm the director of the IKC3 project, and I'm also the co-lead of the Circular Bioeconomy research group at MTU. I'm joined by my colleague Eve Savage, who is project manager in the IKC3 project and involved in quite a number of bioeconomy development projects and innovation activities at MTU. Jessica Dennison, who is the digital media and social and comms officer for the IKC3 project, and the Ready project is with us this evening. And we're also joined by Anna Vativa, who is a graduate from the Certificate in Circular Economy. She's going to share some of her experiences with you this evening on the programme. So look, we have a nice little bit of content to get through this evening. If you have any questions, absolutely feel free to pop them into the chat at any point, and we'll moderate those questions and we'll answer them as we go along. So this programme is delivered by a multidisciplinary team at MTU, involving lecturers and researchers who are deeply involved in circular economy development. So I've introduced myself and Eve. We also have James Gaffey involved in the programme. James has fantastic expertise in the circular bioeconomy and brings some really interesting perspectives and case studies to the programme. We have Katrina Power, who is the Education and Outreach Manager for the Circular Bioeconomy Cluster Southwest and has access to wonderful companies and case studies for focusing on the circular economy. And we have Dr. Jenny Attard, who is a leading Irish researcher and expert in the whole area of sustainable food systems and has a particular interest in food waste management. And then we also have a much wider team that we draw on from our research groups and our networks across MTU and actually right across Europe, who participate in the delivery of the programme. And I think that's one of the things that really sets this programme apart, is that we use a huge amount of guest speakers and international speakers who can bring real live and living case studies of circular economy development to the classroom when we meet once a week on this programme. And I think the circular economy is such a new and emerging area. It's fantastic to have access to these live case studies and examples that you can really learn from as you go through your learning journey. So the Certificate in Circular Economy is a level 8 programme. Now that might not mean something to all of you straight away. So basically the level 8 is the kind of honours degree level. So it's the standard that you're at when you're in your final year of your honours degree programme. So it's quite an advanced level of circular economy knowledge. It's delivered part-time. So this programme is specifically designed for people who are in the workplace. So it's really for professionals looking to expand and deepen their circular economy knowledge to advance their careers. And it's delivered part-time and blended, and it's going from January actually up until August, not December, August 2023. So within this program, you really are introduced to the circular economy. It can be a very new concept for a lot of people. So we do start with the theories and principles around explaining what exactly it is, where it originated from, and what the frameworks are. We go into how you practice circular economy, how you apply it either within an enterprise, within a social enterprise, within a region, or within a location. We look at business models, material flows, and the value chains. We'll talk a little bit about that later within the circular economy. And then we have this Circular Economy in Practice series, which is really, really exciting. And the fantastic thing about this programme is that it's 90% funded by the HEA. So it's a very affordable programme. I think it is a really great way to I suppose, upskill in a cost-efficient way. So what is the circular economy? and we'll just talk about it a little bit. The whole area of sustainability and green transition and the, carbon management and a low carbon economy and the climate crisis is something that's spoken about now on a daily basis. We have COP27 going on at the moment. Every time you turn on the radio, look at your news feeds, pick up a newspaper, hear an interview with politicians or industry leaders, everybody is talking now about sustainability. And the circular economy is one of the key frameworks by which you can progress towards a more sustainable economy. And basically, the circular economy is all around supply chains and how you can basically transition away from the utilization of fossil resources into renewable resources, and how you can reuse infinitely reuse finite materials in a clever way. And that is all around, new business models where you can reuse, repurpose, reimagine how you can use materials. You've got the whole area of upcycling, the whole area of mineral recovery, for example, electronic part recovery, looking at supply chains, new business models where you have services, product as service, for example, and how you can basically try and keep these materials in infinite use loops for as long as possible. And that, I suppose, creates inherent sustainability within what you are doing, because you were reducing the amount of materials that go to waste. And this diagram here is really nice. It's from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So they will be considered to be, I suppose, global leaders in progressing the circular economy. They have this butterfly diagram to the left, which is green, is all the biological resources. So that's called the biosphere. And then to the right is all of the technical resources. So that's anything that's non-biological, and that's regarded as the technical sphere. And that really relates to industry such as manufacturing, computing, ICT, the medtech industry, I suppose the recycling industry, and all of those would fall into the technical cycle. And when you're considering things like electric vehicles and EV and part recycling, all of that falls into the technical cycle. So the circular economy really is agnostic of a sector, because it applies to absolutely every sector, and how you look at better utilization of resources within a sector using new technologies and new business models. So why has MTU developed this particular program? We're early adopters of circular economy and circular bioeconomy in MTU. And we really started in the whole area of research and innovation through the Circ Bio Research Group, in which we started to first look at bioeconomy, and then that progressed to the circular bioeconomy. And we're now very embedded in progressing circular economy, both in research, in education, and also in the whole area of enterprise development. So you have the IKC3 project, which is a large education project progressing the transition to the low carbon economy. As I mentioned, you have the circular bioeconomy cluster. And then we're also part of BioRbic, which is a national SFI funded research centre, which is really the National Centre for Sustainability Research. So within this programme, I suppose it provides the students with access to experts from across MTU and then nationally as well. And then it also, as I mentioned, provides us with access to a huge amount of case studies in terms of companies nationally, but also internationally, and also kind of organizations like the OECD, which we would have collaborations with through the work that we do in research, innovation, and policy development. So a little bit about the program. It's as I mentioned, a level 8 program. So it's 20 credits. So it's a short, compact program. It isn't a huge amount of work. It's a very manageable amount of work, and it's something that you can fit in around your work life and your personal life really quite easily. So it's divided into 2 semesters. You do 1 module per semester. So the first semester goes from the 23rd of January all the way up to the 14th of April. And then the second semester goes from the 22nd of May to the 11th of August. And it's very light in contact. It's just 1 evening a week, and it goes from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. All of the lectures are live, so you get live engagement with international experts and with the lecturers. And then all of the lectures are also provided recorded within the learning platform at MTU, which is Canvas at the moment. So you have an opportunity to go back over the recorded lectures, and then you also get notes, and you have a lot of, I suppose, learning materials and recommended readings that are all located within this learning platform. So you're really, really supported in your learning and given a huge amount of reading materials and podcasts and, YouTube content and recommendations around how you can build your circular economy knowledge. It's not all just academic. So this program really is for people who want real life enterprise and regional development related examples of circular economy development. So just the first module. So the first module is to give you that introduction and foundation. So we do the theory, frameworks and practices of the circular economy. So we talk about the origins of circular economy. We talk a little bit about natural capital. We talk about cradle to cradle and the different, I suppose, foundations of circular economy and how they have emerged in the 70s, would you believe, and now are, you know, in here we are in 2022 when it finally has started to mainstream. And then we look at the business case for CE. So why is this circular economy, this reuse, repair, recycle, regenerate model, you know, the way we should be looking in our economy? You know, why does it make good business sense? Why does it make economic and social sense? And we really dig in to the different aspects of adopting a circular business model. We look at material flow. So how can you go from sourcing a material, a virgin material or a biomass, to creating a product, and then how can you look at that product and extend its life cycle, and how do you look at end of life, and how do you look at disassembling particular products so that you can reuse those particular components again and create new products for them. So we do a lot around material flows and value chains and supply chains, which is really interesting, and you work on real life examples within the classroom. And I'm going to go into the circular economy in practice series in a while. And I know Eve is going to have a little bit to say about that as well. We had a fantastic time last year listening to all of the amazing speakers that we had come from globally, really into the classroom. So in terms of the assessment, this is really about being on a learning journey. This is not about, you know, the drilling down into the type of assessment that you might have been used to in undergraduate studies. We keep it very dynamic. So we use discussion boards. So basically you go into an online forum and you engage in discussion with your classmates around a particular topic. You then get to work and analyze one of our circular economy case studies. So you get to unpick a case study, which is really, really interesting. And then you also get to innovate. Okay, so you get to propose a new product or service or some development opportunity as applied to a regional challenge or context. So we really want you working on real life problems and challenges and to come up with solutions that are circular in nature. And you get to work in groups on that. So these are just some of the case studies and examples and thematics that we went through in the first module last year in the delivery of this. So as mentioned, we did the introduction to the circular economy. So we do the various frameworks and we focus on the 9 R's. We had a fantastic lecture on climate change and the circular economy. Then we had Jane Stout from TCD who spoke about biodiversity and natural capital. We had the Cradle to Cradle organization to come in and give us some really nice case studies around product certifications and standards. And I know we have B Corp who are going to be coming in to do a session with us this year. We had case studies on material flows and supply chains. We had Italian municipalities come in and tell us about how they're making their cities more circular. And then we did plastics and packaging, fashion, ESGs, which is such a hot topic at the moment within industry, and people are really looking for ESG experts. And then how do you actually fund the circular economy? There are lots of financial instruments out there that are specifically designed for companies that are adopting circular business models and circular practices. And, you know, what are they? How do you apply for them? What are the types of criteria that these funding instruments want you to align to? And then we use a lot of design thinking and innovation sprints in some of the ideation and collaboration activities that we have on a particular evening. So a class typically tends to be a kind of an introductory lecture to a particular topic, a case study by bringing in a guest speaker from internationally, and then maybe a problem or some kind of challenge that you do some group work in the evening with your classmates. So Eve, I don't know, have you anything else that you'd like to add around the way these evenings ran, or anything that you think might be interesting for the students, in particular, I suppose, for the Circular Economy and Practice series?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose just welcome to everybody that's here this evening. And you can see from this list that, I mean, we covered a huge range of areas, and there was a slide further on that kind of shows you some of the companies and speakers that were involved in these. And it made for a very exciting and fast-paced program, to be honest. And before you know it, semester 1 will be complete. and next thing you're into semester 2. But it's all of these lovely sort of evenings with these wonderful speakers, as Helena said, that have come from different countries all over the world and here in Ireland and whatnot. And here's an example of some of the speakers. Natural Capital Ireland, the OECD came in to talk about policy. We had Zero Waste Scotland. Scotland have done some fantastic work. They've got a very, I suppose, a similar sized country type culture to our own as well. So there's a lot of synergies there. So you have all of these great speakers, and it lends itself to excellent class discussion amongst your classmates, post the speaker, and really gives such, I suppose, a really broad understanding of how circular economy affects every single sector and every single business and every single organization, across the whole scheme of things. So yeah, as I said, very fast paced and just made for quite an exciting program. So it's not all bookwork and and so heavy on the theory. We give you all of the theory, walk you through that, but there's also those wonderful guest speakers as well that are part of it. Myself and the team here also integrate sort of design thinking and innovation tools to really help that sort of virtual online engagement. So for you to work together.
Yeah, well, if you don't know how to use a Miro board, you will know how to use a Miro board by the end of this particular program, and lots of online tools, which can make for quite a fun evening, even in a virtual environment, because it's just amazing when you get together with a group of people who are from very diverse backgrounds, the kind of conversations that can go on in these groups, which is great. So we have a question here from Cora, who says, I have already built a business using the circular economy. Would the course have value for me? Cora, absolutely. The course would have value for you. I think it would, further and deepen your knowledge in the whole area of circular economy. It would probably tease and make you think deeper around how your business is structured. It would expose you to more best practices in terms of how circular economy has been deployed within companies nationally and internationally. It would enable you to network, I think, as well with international experts. So, for example, with funders, with policymakers, maybe with potential customers, and also even just the network that you develop within the classroom. You just don't know who your classmate is going to be and what network they will have that could particularly add value to you and in your business. And I think what's interesting as well is this particular second module. So this is called Innovate Circular. So this is all around embracing circular principles and using really nice design tools to enable you to either design a circular service or product from scratch, or to look at an existing product or service and to transition that to a more circular business model. So what we do is we introduce you to systems innovation, so give you different types of innovation tools, talk to you about the policy developments in the whole area of circularity, look at the regulatory dynamics, what's existing, what's coming. Sometimes there can be regulatory things that create commercial opportunities, and that can be really interesting. So if you can get ahead of those, that can give you a commercial advantage. And then as a university, and I suppose as a cluster, we're very connected with the funding frameworks and the funders. So we understand how to apply for funding, what's coming down the line, and we talk about that. And then also in Innovate Circular, we have a really, really nice communications component to this particular module, where we take a really deep dive into how do you actually communicate circularity. It can be really loaded with jargon. It can alienate customers, whether it's B2B or B2C, whether you're working within a community or you're working socially or wherever you may be. All of this jargon can actually be very, very off-putting. And what you want to do is create collaboration, improve resource efficiency, support the transition to a more sustainable way of living. So how do you talk about that in a way that's relatable and that you can bring people on this journey with you? So at the end of this module, you're able to use circular design tools really, really well. And that's a very, very strong transferable skill set that you can bring either into your business or into your workplace. And that, I suppose, gives you a competitive advantage as well, that you can, do this circular design. And then the ability to critically analyze CE from a social, environmental and economic perspective. Those of you that already have businesses that are, based on circular models, it'll enable you to take a look inside your business and see maybe if there are opportunities for optimization, or maybe even just to quantify in a better way how your business is structured and better articulate what your proposition, your value proposition is. And then, as I mentioned, the whole piece around communication, and you'll have really good communication skills. And we do a lot around storytelling. So we had Jonathan McCrae do a couple of evenings with us last year, and that was really, really beneficial. So within this module, then you get to work in a team around a circular economy solution, again, for a regional challenge or context. And last year we had a really nice challenge around how do you create a circular and sustainable town. So working within an urban environment. So the workload is really, it's not that much. And it's more around being very actively engaged when you're in the classroom, really, taking advantage of the academic experts that you have, engaging in deep conversation, taking advantage of those case studies, doing your little bit of self-directed learning, doing the case studies, working in groups, and, just being there the 2 hours in the week. The assessment, as I said, is very dynamic, case study based and discussion boards. And again, around the time management, really, really flexible, live and recorded content, and that's always available for you to go back to. And then you have the full support of the team in MTU as well, and the likes of myself or Eve or Jenny, or we're available to support you, and you'll be given the contact point, who the best person is for you to contact. So just in terms of who has taken this program, we've had really, really nice diversity in the student profiles to date. So we've had students from pharma, we've had students in materials, we've had students in the energy, construction sector, we've had consultants from large consultancy houses looking to deepen their knowledge, and we've had people running their own businesses that wanted to offer new circular economy services and supports as part of their business, offering. We've had people in, obviously in environment and supply chain, and the food and drink industry. So I think we might have a survey, Jess, do we? Fantastic. So guys, we're really keen to know what sectors you are coming from, because it's always great to know who's in the room. So if you'd like to just go into the poll here and click on the sector that you're from, it'll give us an idea as to who is here. So great. Food and drink, medtech and pharma, environment, energy and construction, consultancy as well. So yeah, so we're getting, tourism and enterprise as well this evening. So a really good, I think, spread, very reflective of the students that we've had to date. So I think that's great. And then they'll create a really dynamic environment in the classroom as well, because you're all coming with different perspectives, and it's really good for the innovation sprints, bringing all of the expertise together. So thank you for that. So we've had, I suppose, the students on the program have had a really positive experience, and it's like anything, you get as much out of it, or maybe more, as you put into it. So we've had students, they've said that the course exceeded their expectations. They really, really found the knowledge to be very useful, very practical, and that they could apply in their workplaces. And they found that there was a great opportunity to be challenged and to kind of use your critical thinking to, I suppose, think in a new and different way, applying circular economy practices. So I'm delighted that we have Anna with us here this evening. Anna Vativa was one of the students in the program last year. And Anna, would you mind sharing with the group this evening your experience on the program and maybe how it's benefited you in your career and next steps?
Yes, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experience tonight. I work in the supply chain sector, or mainly in the pharmaceutical supply chain sector. So for me, it was very interesting to learn a bit more about the supply chains, the flow of materials, and especially because my passion is sustainability and my background is as well in environmental science. So it was very interesting to meet new people, the colleagues in the class, all these experts in the circular economy sector, to get this new idea and have this possibility to start thinking a bit more differently about how we use the materials, how we can make them, design them to last longer, or to reuse them and to give them a new life. So also from a supply chain perspective, how we can redesign our supply chains so that we make them greener, and more resilient in a global perspective. So it was really very nice experience, and I really enjoy to have discussions with the colleagues on the course and really see different perspectives and share different opinions from, as you mentioned already, different businesses and different areas of different areas of work. So it was really nice experience, and really thank you for organizing this course and keeping the good work.
Not at all, Anna. It was a pleasure to have you. So I suppose, Anna, it really enabled you to look at your own job and in a different way, and you found that you were able to bring some of the knowledge back into your workplace. How did your colleagues respond, Anna, to your new skills and your new perspective when you were, kind of updating them on new opportunities and maybe how you could rethink supply chains?
Yeah, they were very interested. They were like, what exactly is this circular economy? How is it, how do you want to apply it here? So I was explaining, of course, that it's basically sustainability, but a new way of rethinking sustainability or redesigning sustainability, and explaining as well that all companies now really want to reach the sustainability goals. So it's already in their main long-term plans. For example, until 2030, they have certain goals to reach, and really having employees already able to look in this long-term perspective enables the company as well to reach their goals, and even giving small ideas how things can be changed really helps move companies and go forward and really become greener and more sustainable in what they're doing. So so it's a school of thought that's going nowhere, Anna. We can only see now, even at board level, that companies are just getting more and more interested in how the circular economy can save them money, make them more efficient, help them to meet their their targets and their goals. So it's really interesting. I mean, I've looked on LinkedIn. I looked at their green skills report recently, and I think there's been a 500-fold increase in the requirement for sustainable circular economy type skills in jobs that are being posted now. And if you look, even you see circular economy now in a lot of job titles out there. So this is something that's really become an in-demand skill. So I'm glad it's benefited you, Anna. So thank you so much for that. So I think that brings us really nicely onto the next slide. So Eve, I mean, we've had lots of, I suppose, benefits and outputs within the student community from the particular program. And we've seen that, the students have advanced their circular economy knowledge, which is kind of, the first thing. But this has enabled the students to go back into their workplaces to make proposals around process improvements, new service development opportunities. That has, I suppose, given students the agency to be change agents, to come in and advocate for this new area and to kind of set themselves apart as the expert within an organization in circular economy. And it's enabled, I suppose, lots of conversations and developments around, new business models that can be brought into an organization. It's created opportunities for SME collaboration. The students have worked on market validation and opportunity scoping. So it's, there are a huge amount of things that you can actually action and do from the broad knowledge that you'll get within the program.
Yeah, and there's, I suppose, towards the end of the program, that there's a group, there's a kind of a group project and a group assignment, and some of what you see here on the screen might seem a little bit, beyond where you are at this particular moment in time, but I can assure you that the group that we had in the first year, and Anna was part of that group, actually produced amazing presentations around new service development, which really showcased all of these skills, their advancement in the circular economy knowledge, their understanding of how infrastructure works, new business models, how they would have to collaborate with SMEs, etc., and really demonstrated that they were, after transitioning through the whole program, really were becoming these change agents for the future. So excuse me then. So yeah, so not to be put off by any of this, because really we had some amazing projects that came back to us by the last group.
Yeah, and it's not, I suppose, we were pleasantly surprised by how deep the knowledge of the students had gotten, because it only is 2 hours a week. And then when we saw what the students actually returned to us from their group work, it was fantastic. And the way we also have structured that second semester is that you do your group work in those 2 hours in the evening. You don't have to do loads of additional work in your personal time. We've structured in quite a clever way so that you don't have these massive burdens of work that go on around the classroom. And again, I suppose the amount of work you do will always be driven by your personal passion for an area. So when you're really excited and enthusiastic about a topic, you just end up reading and consuming information in your free time anyway, because you find it fascinating. So they're just, as I mentioned, there are huge amounts of career opportunities for people with circular economy skills and knowledge. So sustainability managers, people involved in SME and business strategy, sourcing and procurement is really a big area. We've got lots of companies and organizations now who want climate action professionals, people who are in sales and having circular economy knowledge and are talking around new circular economy products is a real demand as well at the moment. The whole area of sustainable packaging, ESG advisors, environmental managers, designers and engineers that have circular design skills are really in demand. And this whole area now, we're progressing from Industry 4.0, which was all around sensors and automation and robotics, into Industry 5.0, which is embracing sustainability and new business models within manufacturing operations. And it's kind of transitioning, interestingly, away from robotics in a way and more into the new kind of technologies and business models. So this is a new area, and circular economy is really embedded with that in that. So anybody here who has a design or an engineering background, it's really interesting. And again, product development, integrating circularity into product design is a huge area. And I suppose applying circular principles from the start. What materials are we going to use? How are they going to be assembled? How can they be reused? How can they be disassembled? How can we use things that are renewable? It's all around the design at the start. If it's out to the consumer, how can we actually get that returned and centralized into a central location? So there are just so many things to think about. And that's why the innovation skills that we do, and Eve is particularly expert in this whole area as well, this whole innovation sprint methodology, thinking, prototyping, iterating, collaborating, really opens your mind, I suppose, to how you can design things in a different way. And it's hugely exciting. So, a couple of years ago, climate careers were not a thing. There was kind of environmental science careers and, sustainable agriculture kind of became a thing. And then sustainability became a thing. But now, climate is a profession and it is a career. And, having circular economy knowledge is definitely going to set you apart in the employment market. And even if you want to have a look, there's this really fantastic resource called Climate Base, and it details, sustainability and climate careers. So that's just a quick run through the program, how it's structured, what the content is, how it's delivered. So basically, if you are employed or unemployed, you are entitled to Springboard supports. It provides 90% of the cost of the program. The closing date is the 9th of December. If you're interested, I would encourage you to get your applications in as soon as possible. There's absolutely huge interest in this program, and it's very much on a first come, first served basis. You can apply through springboardcourses.ie. Just select this program. It's one of the only circular economy programs in the country. So even if you search circular economy in Springboard, you will find it, and submit your application. This is a level 8 program, so you'll need to have a level 7 qualification to be eligible for the program. If you've 8 or higher, you are automatically eligible for the program. So if you have any other questions, you can just pop them in the chat. So look, it's a really exciting, dynamic program, really progressive, really designed to set you apart in the marketplace, advance your circular economy knowledge, enable you to collaborate with maybe new organizations and new people and new sectors that you mightn't have thought of before. And it really gives you an opportunity to get ahead And with a commitment of 2 hours per week, it's exceptionally manageable. And it's a pleasure really on a Wednesday evening to hear from the fantastic speakers that we have in the program. So Eve, is there anything else you'd like to add that might be interesting for the students around the delivery or any of the tools that we use? Or
yeah, absolutely. I suppose one really great part as well is, I mean, the program is running from January to August. It absolutely goes really, really quickly, and you have a nice gap there in the middle in May. But also we will hope to bring you together for at some point in the program. We know that people will be living in different parts of the country, etc., and we can make that work. But it's something that really is seems to work very well, Helena, when we're, you know, with everyone, they've met each other for months and months online, but when you actually have an opportunity to come on site on campus, that's always fantastic as well. And yeah, I just know that, I'm not sure if Anna still here, but I know that they've got a great rapport amongst their group that is ongoing and continuing, which is wonderful to see as well. So even beyond the program, people are always sharing information with one another. And also us here in MTU and the IKC3 project and CircBio, we've got amazing resources and events that are taking place throughout the year. And you'll be able to link into all of that through our social media channels, and we'll be providing that sort of alumni service as well. So it's like you're joining for a program, but you could be here for life almost, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's great. And look, you can see with Anna here this evening, we've great connectivity with all of the students that have gone through the program. So there's a question here from Grania, and it's, is the awarding body QQI or MTU or another? It's actually MTU. So we provide our own awards. So you would receive an MTU parchment with your certificate in circular economy with our lovely new MTU branding, which is really nice. Sounds great. Or a Trash to Treasure project, and could always do with them. Absolutely, Cora. And I'm fascinated to hear about your Trash to Treasure project. So yeah, look, getting the kind of theories and principles behind it, but then you just don't know as well about the new collaborators that you could bring on board, access to the research centres like CircBio, access to SFI Biorbic and all of the kind of national infrastructures as well. So it probably would lift and accelerate what you're doing. But look, you have my email address there, helena.mcmahon@mtu.ie. If you want to pop me on an email, we can jump on a call and we can have a chat, and I can give you some more information if you want. So is the course suitable for people who don't work in the business sector? Absolutely. So this program is suitable for people who work in the NGO sector, who work in social enterprise, or people who are in the creative industries as well. Is really relevant to think about how I suppose you can be creative in new ways, embrace circular principles, and maybe express new and interesting things around sustainability through the lens of the circular economy. And look, when you talk about circularity, it's all great saying, you know, we reuse, recycle, reverse supply chains, look at logistics, etc. But it's all around creating resilience and regenerating within communities and within the location which you live. Because basically at the core of it, when you really strip it away, circular economy is all around creating more sustainable communities, positively impacting the environment within which you live, and making, you know, making the planet more resilient and to survive into the future. So there's a very strong social, cultural kind of element to the circular economy and the civic and I suppose ethical responsibilities that come with being a good citizen. So I think it ties in really nicely with the creative industries. So would the course
could be someone messaged in the chat that they were in the sector in art, creative arts. So I think there would be, I wrote back that it actually would be a wonderful addition to have on the program, as somebody that would bring that sort of those skills and knowledge and share them with the other people on this program. I think it's great to have that. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? Wouldn't there be fantastic conversations, especially when we do the communications content in the Innovate Circular, in terms of how do you bring artistic expression into the communication of the circular economy? And I can imagine SFI Biorbic being absolutely delighted to have an artist in residence that would be expressing, you know, circularity and sustainability through art. I think it would be absolutely amazing. And it ties in really nicely as well with this whole area of STEAM. So it's, STEM, integrating the arts. And I think that's a really important element of the circular economy, because it is very much a technology-enabled sector as well. So look, I think we could have hours and hours of conversation around that. And that's something I'd love to get involved in myself. So would the course be relative to farming and agriculture and small business farm shops? Absolutely. John won't mind me mentioning, but we had somebody from the Airfield estate participate in the circular economy program last year. And as you know, that's a beautiful estate in Dublin, very much around sustainable food systems. And I think, bringing circularity, resource, regenerative farming is really interesting for the farming community. That's something we touch on. The whole area of natural capital, sustainable food systems, shorts, food supply chains, all of that I think is really relevant to agriculture and to agribusiness. So I think you will get a lot from the program. And we have a lot of experts as well in the bioeconomy that we will bring into the program that can talk around that biological part of the circular economy. So that's of the green side of the little butterfly diagram that we put up at the start. Okay, guys. So look, I think that's it for this evening. You know us now, as they say. So I'm Helena, that's Eve. I'm helena.mcmahon@mtu.ie, and Eve is eve.savage@mtu.ie. We are more than happy to answer any questions you might have about the program. If you're worried if it's a right fit for you, if you have any more questions around delivery and contact and all of that, we'd be more than happy to answer your questions. The final thing I'll say is we totally understand that people are working. We all have lives, and things can just get in the way. And we work with students if anything pops up that's unexpected, to help them to get through the program. And ultimately, in the end, students tend to be enjoying the group work and enjoying the sessions so much that it's not really a chore to turn up, and everybody seems to get through in a really efficient and easy way and out the other end. So I'm sure the same will happen this year for the cohort that comes into the program. So I'm going to suggest that we wrap it up now. Eve, are you happy enough, or do you have anything else for this evening?
Yeah, no, that's it. And great to be here and to be able to deliver this webinar this evening, and wish you all the best of luck in your application.